Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk. Rival week is here. We got some stuff to break down, and there's a lot of new coaching hires going on around the land. Hang on, and let's jump right in here and do this together. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Let's go.
Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Big Matt. Thank y'all for coming by and hanging out with me here on a Wednesday night. We're going to talk about there's a lot of new coaching hires that's kind of went on like today and yesterday. I think Arkansas has found them a head coach. Eric Morris came from North Texas. He's going to be taking the Oklahoma City job. Jim Mora, we know who he is. He's been a good coach, been around for a while. Has been at UConn for some time now. He's a good recruiter. He's done well up there. UConn 27-23 record. Another record don't sound real good, but they're going to hire him at Colorado State. So there you go. And another Bama guy on the list. I think we talked about it maybe yesterday. That Ryan Grubb may be up, a candidate for the Cal job. I think we talked about that, but I think I'd heard also that they were probably going to get the young guy from Oregon, one of their coordinators, probably out there. But here's some funky news. Another Alabama guy is kind of in the mix for a head job. Jamarcus Shepard at Alabama. If you've seen any kind of their videos and seen how they hype people up and see how he gets out there on the field, I mean, he's just a ball of energy. Supposedly, Oregon State is in the contingents for him. Maybe, I don't know. But, here's the thing. There's a time, like people just constantly reaching out to Alabama people. It's like they're trying to hire the guy that mops the floors in Tuscaloosa just to get a piece of some identity. Saban's not even there anymore. So that just kind of shows you where the mystique is for the program. I don't know if he's taking the job, and these are just rumors. And I don't know if he's ready to be a coach. Or Nick Sheridan. I've heard his name thrown out there for Oregon State job too. And look, they all have agents. I mean, they can all be contacted and say, hey, not know if he's going to take the job or not, but is he interested? I mean, you just don't know. But here's a funky one. Alex Golesh from USF. He's been 22-15 overall there. We've all seen South Florida play. Those guys play really hard. Their defense is good. Offense is always ready to score. I mean, they tackle well. Usually not a lot of penalties. I've seen them play a game or two where they had some penalties, but for the most part, man, he's done a good job there. He's from Russian descent. He just seems like a tough guy that looks like on Three Brothers on the movie or something, or from The Sopranos. Or, I mean, he's the guy that, works down at the bar or something. Tough guy. Do y'all think that he fits the job? Supposedly he's been offered a job at Arkansas. Does he fit? Does he fit that job? What's up, Ben? High school football kicking around the area. Coming tomorrow night. It's going to be freezing cold. This Friday night will be the last Friday high school football because the next week is state championship games. You are correct, sir. What do you think about Golesh to Arkansas? Does his here's let's talk about Arkansas for a minute. We're going to do some rival week. You notice when everybody says rival week, they all really want to say like rival because of the W in the week. Wobble week. We'll talk about some rivalry games coming up for the week. Arkansas, here's the thing now. You don't have to be Alabama or Georgia's of course it helps to be because the money situation and their brand. They don't have to pay players quite as much in money because of the brand that they have. That logo, the scripted A, the Georgia G. I mean, even LSU and that type of stuff, Oh, yeah, side note, Lane may be going to LSU, blah, blah, blah. the state of Mississippi and Rival 300s, they both have 10 guys in the ESPN 300. So it's not a huge thing to move. I wouldn't move if I was him. But the brand there at Arkansas, I mean, it's not a brand. I know they're part of the SEC. They've never really won some big games. But this new age and era of college football, guys, you can go out and just get money and use that to keep players that you can recruit and use that money to portal guys, add a few players here and there. You're not really going to build a full team on one because it's just not going to work out. There's still a thing to football to where there's still some heart in the matter. There's still some, ideology that playing for your team and being there and, being part of that brand, that kind of stuff. I still have to lie to myself, I guess, and feel like that's still part of football. And to be able to develop high school players, I think personally, this portal stuff is going to cool off. NIL money's always been thrown around to players. It has. I can tell you stories about back in the day in Alabama where they got their elephant logo from a furniture moving company there in town that would bring their equipment to games. That's where they picked the elephant from. The players would work there at the furniture store there in the summer. Back in the early days when Baird got there in the early 60s, I know these stories from reading his book and stuff. And they would pay the guys, to work there. And sometimes they may not have showed up for work that day. They may have to go to practice, but they would still got their probably $5 for the day of work in 1961. But I'm just making the point that players have always been paid. So NIL is not the crushing blow. It's been the portal where people can move around with no real anchor. And out of thousands and thousands of, portal guys, only like 20% of the guys are really actually kind of good players. And only 10% of them are guys that are going to, be some kind of quality to a program. So with Arkansas in this era of football, man, look, all you got to do is get in the playoff. It's 12 teams and they're going to re-meet. They were supposed to meet next week. And they've changed that till later on, late January, before they're going to have a meeting to decide about having a 16-team playoff, which I think is ASA 9 and ASA 10 and 2099. I don't like it. I'm sure it gives everybody a fair shot. We want to see good games. Just pair up the games and, let the bowl games – speak for themselves. And these young men have earned something. Look, if they won 6 or 7 games, they get to go to a good bowl game. Great. They get these prizes, get to do cool stuff. It's great. So, with all that being said, to where we're at, we're going to add more teams and add more teams. So Arkansas, with a coach like Alex Golesh from USF, he's probably going to take the job there. I just heard that earlier. I'm saying you don't have to be Bama or Oregon or Ohio State. You can just get in the playoff. Oh, man, Lane Kiffin's doing it, man. He's going to have a shot. And we looked there last night, right now, which is it's going to change. They would be lined up to host Alabama in a first-round playoff. That'd be a great game, fantastic game. And I kind of would assume, I bet Ole Miss may be favoring the game, maybe 2.5 or something. What do y'all think? So look, and the big logo on the field, you ever heard of this brand? There's a big brand. It's called Walmart. They spent $20 million at Arkansas on the baseball field. They spent several more million on the basketball arena. You seen that new, they got a new, Jumbotron up there. There's Walmart everywhere. The graphics and stuff they have around the stadium. It's Walmart. They have plenty of money. I think their quarterly earnings at Walmart, I looked it up one time just here recently, just looking up random stuff because I like to do that. It's like $200 million profit a quarter, and there's 4 in a year. That's a lot of money. 200 million a quarter, their profits. And they can't drop a 30 bag or 40 bag on Arkansas to boost their football team to have an NIL pot. Why not? It's where we are. You can get a team. If Arkansas could just win 9, 10 games, and be in that round, but with playing 9 conference games now because Sankey's a fool and he bowed the knee to Pitini, the commish, and the Big Ten, and said, you'll play 9 conference games like we do up here. I know that the 9 conference games that we have, that only 2 of them are ranked and the other 7 are crap. They're not even ranked, but the SEC, you got to play 9. And out of your 9 scheduled conference games, about 6 of yours are going to be ranked in the top 15. Good luck getting in the playoffs. It'll have to go to 16 teams. We won't have any teams in it because we're just all going to beat on each other all week. They rest their starters at halftime every week. So that's the difference. But Golesh at Arkansas, if they would give him a pot, a nice, pretty pot he could pee in, they could keep guys there and hire him a good staff, and you can recruit the area. His style of football, like I said earlier, they play tough, man. We've all seen USF play. The Bulls, man, they're some dogs. They really, really get after it. So, what do y'all think about the hire from Golesh? Could be taking the job at Arkansas. Now, here's a funky one, and I saved it for last. And I don't know if this is – there's a lot of rumor stuff out there, man, and you know how you hear stuff. But I heard last year this particular coach at this school out west, the prominent school out west, as our number 1 fan, hope Jeff's doing good. Maybe he can jump on here in a little bit. Jeff calls them University of Spoiled Children, USC Trojans. They're access to money and whatever he would want. That state is loaded with talent. I know off the top of my head like 3 ranked nationally high schools in the state. Saban got a good hand in that pot over there at Mater D years and years ago. Of course, everybody knows that Bryce Young came from out there. So I don't know if Lincoln's style of football has maybe missed him a little bit. I think that was Freeze's problem. I think his style has just kind of passed him by. And I heard last year, just kind of wasn't happy out there. But he seems like a great fit out there, don't he? I mean, when Lane Kiffin was out there, he seemed like a great fit. But the reason Lane left USC was because the Pete Carroll crap that went down with Reggie Bush and the Heisman got took back and the council validation of the championship. And he was told that they were not going to be kicked back on scholarships at USC, and they lied to him. And USC lost a bunch of scholarship players, so it put Lane in a bad spot. And he just couldn't go. He couldn't go just get those guys anywhere. So is Lincoln Riley interested in Florida? Is that a possibility? Does Riley seem like a fit to go out and play at Florida? I mean, hit the comments. Hey, if you like it, man, I appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. Give me your ideas and opinions. Is Lincoln Riley more of a Florida Gator than a, USC Trojan guy? Hit the thumbs up if you like it. If you disagree and think he stays at USC, hit the thumbs up on that. What do you think about Golesh? Probably going to be at Arkansas. I think those are very interesting. And, of course, all the Alabama players are they're going to get picked up, and all their coaches are going to get talked about. So let's throw this image up here on the old telescreen here, and we'll share this with everybody. It's what we like to do. Have a good time. Talking about some rival football games. Let me move it around where we can see it all pretty well. Let's go here to the comments. We'll cut these off here for a minute. Now, as you can see, through our turkey lurkey there. Lincoln Riley left on home. Yeah, seeing him, he didn't want to play. Well, that's the thing, but that's a rumor. Now, I don't, maybe that's not all true. Maybe there's some fools go to that. Ben, it could be. He seems like a very competitive guy. He can really build quarterbacks. Look, man, Florida's talking about these all these schools are dropping these $25 million a year NIL purse constantly for the head coach and his staff to go out and keep players. We're talking about 25, 35 million. Ole Miss said they was supposedly going to give Lane 40 to stay at Ole Miss. So it may be an opportunity for him to jump in here and figure out where he wants to be as a head coach. And I don't know. I think it could be a good spot for him. So let's look at the old rivalry week and see who we like to pick on this one. I'm going to start. Let's start at the bottom. We did Auburn and Alabama breakdown. Of course, it's going to be Saturday night. It's 6:30 there, ABC. Let's just say what we know, and we'll go through these. We're not going to stay on here all night because one or two of these are kind of not real big games for me personally, I guess. But Auburn, Alabama, biggest rivalry in college football. Joel Klatt, you can eat a bag of bricks because you're foolish to say that Michigan and Ohio State. Jeff, if he's on here, he can defend it. That's fine. This state is divided down the middle. We share a state. Look, guys, these players played in high school together. Michigan, Ohio State don't really – I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it's not like here. These players share rival camps together. There actually are families where cousins and stuff go to different schools. Alabama or Auburn. I mean, it's talked about. I'm sure it's talked about it, church jokingly, up north too, but it's just different here. And we don't have hockey. We don't have pro football teams. They have big soccer teams too up north. It's just a whole different ball of wax. So miss me on the BS of the best rivalry, in the game is, Michigan, Ohio State. I completely disagree. Is it a great game? Yeah. Has the rivalry had a little luster lost from it? Yeah. Michigan's on their tail. As Alabama's owned Auburn for years and years and years now. So what's the keys for Auburn offensively to go out here and score? Well, this will be the best defense that Ashton Daniels has played against. I believe the guys are going to be tuned up, ready to go, ready to play, and understand what's at hand. Proctor, left tackle, said, he had a very good quote today saying how he talked about a few of their players, from Atkins to Keldrick Falk to whatever to Winters and their run game, Cobb. Said Auburn's got a good team, but to us guys, it's it's just another game because it's just another week in the SEC. Yeah, these guys want to rip our face off, and we're prepared for that. We expect a good game. We've won there before. We beat them up here at our house last year, so that's just kind of that. So Auburn offensively, Ashton to be able to go out there and play and just make a difference. We're going to have to go by what we see. And I've watched him play. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. He had a good game against Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt's DBs are bad. Their secondary is as bad as Auburn's. Auburn's secondary is about 103rd. So it's probably about what he was used to seeing at practice. Offensively, are they going to be able to run the ball on Alabama? I think so. I think they'll have some success with that. Can they wrangle Ashton? Can he get out there and get loose and run the ball some? They're going to have to run him some to keep them kind of honest. You like to see some screens and stuff to try to slow down. The linebacker core at Bama is better than Auburn's. Atkins is Auburn's best player by far. He leads in tackles for loss and sacks, both. But you got Russo and Pierre, and of course Jefferson, leads the team in tackles. I think they could have some success. They got a good field goal kicker. I think he's back on track. He don't miss very much. Saw him play in high school. Great young man, good family up here at Fort Payne. If Auburn can get down there close inside, if he can just kick, 35-yard field goals, hey, look, three's better than none. And that's kind of that. How much points does Auburn offense need? I'm going to kind of feel like 3 touchdowns and a couple of field goals. Do I think they can get there? It will be tough for him because just don't know, man. Ashton hadn't really played nobody like this. He's going to have a hard day. If Bama plays on their track defensively and they can get a little rush on him and can sack him a little bit, that could be the difference in the game. Now, on the other side of the ball, Alabama offensively has been absolutely just Stranger Things is out tonight. It'll be coming on here in a little bit on Netflix. That's Bama's offense. It's just what's happened is defenses have gotten more and more keys and film on how to kind of beat this team. 1, 2. There's things we already knew. Like Ty's not the deep ball thrower guy, but he can hit all the middle stuff. Well, he could. He's going to throw a pick in the game. It's just where he's at. Now, why is that? Well, they're throwing the ball. I mean, like first play of the game, they're throwing the ball. It's 3rd and 3. They're throwing the ball. That comes from a lack of run game, and it's been this way for years and years and years and years and 4 years or so at Bama. Ty's going to have to run the ball some. That's going to be a key for Bama to score. Offensively, from Horton, Brooks, Bernard, and I guess you could say Ryan, he's, just kind of out there moving around sometimes. Some people were saying Russo was like, well, it's up in the air. I've read on 2 different places that he will not play Saturday, and he probably more than likely will not even play in the SEC title game if they win Saturday. He's going to be maybe a playoff game. And I'm trying to find out, which is hard because they're like, it's hard to get some guys because it's like game week. If his ankle's broke, he's done he's out for the season. He won't be back. But we do love our local guy, Brody Dalton. And Brody, he's 89 there at Bama, played at 5. He is a winner. Comes from good stock family. Talked to his dad some, back when they were playing over there. Good people, knows what it takes to win. I'm excited for him to have an opportunity to play in the Iron Bowl, and I'm sure he is excited. That tight end game could be some difference. But the thing with Bama running the ball, they don't want to run out of 12 personnel set like a double tight end set. They try to bring, Jeremy and these sweeps and stuff. And the Auburn's linebackers, the guys, they can fly, man. They got plenty of speed. Their front 7 is not bad. They've kept them involved in a lot of games. Now their backside is where it kind of gets foggy. Guys have been picked on over there some, and guys running by. Pleasant's going to grab. He's going to hold somebody 10 yards up the field. He's getting blown by. So he gets a lot of PI calls, but he may get you a pick in a game. Bama should be able to. If they're going to need a touchdown every quarter. This could come down to a late kick in the ball game, man. It really could, and I think that's where we're at right now. I really do. So let's see here. What we got over here? Hit the comments before we move on to the next one. If Alabama was to win the SEC championship and the Big 12 was to get 2 teams in the playoffs, and Notre Dame would be. Yeah, that's possible. I have heard that today. If BYU wins the Big 12 and Alabama wins the SEC, where does Notre Dame? Whew. I hope they get left out. Ben, you already know you're on here every week with us, bro. I'm what up, Zach? What's going on, bro? Talking about a little breakdown, a little Iron Bowl, rival week stuff. Went through some coaching stuff, Zach. I'll catch you up real quick on some coaching stuff. Golesh from USF probably taking the Arkansas job. What do you think about that? Big Walmart money. He could win there. Lincoln Riley, we're hearing little tiptoes in the dark that Lincoln Riley may be ready to run from the West Coast and get down here to Florida. And, of course, Shepard at Bama does wide receiver stuff, big hype guy. He had been talked about in conversation at Oregon State. And then the guy at UConn, Jim Mora, they hired him at Colorado State. And then Eric Norris, from North Texas, great football team. He's done a good job with them this year. He's going to be at Oklahoma State. But Lincoln Riley to Florida, that's kind of the let's keep an eye on that. But Golesh at Arkansas, hey, if y'all like it, hit the thumbs up on the page. Really appreciate it. If you're on the old YouTube, subscribe to the channel, man. That was just hitting the thumbs up is just really big. It helps move the video around in the old algorithm. Now, Tennessee, Vandy. I think Joey he's a good quarterback. He may turn the ball over a little bit in the game, but it's not going to be this one. I think Pavia is going to cause some trouble with them. Coach Lee's a good coach. I wouldn't be surprised. There's, his name comes up in some of these, coaching hires, which is fair. I don't think that Vandy's defense is quite good enough to hang on, to take down the Vols. Now, that would be a surprise to me. As with the Iron Bowl, we give some, back and forth. I think, like Auburn, what's Auburn good at? Stopping the run. Bama's like, well, we don't run the ball. Oh, crap. Well, crap. What's Bama good at? They're good at throwing the ball. What's Auburn 103rd at? Oh, giving up the passes. Ooh. So where one's weak and where the other's strong, where they meet. Tennessee pass game. They got some guys out there that can play, man. Defensively up front, they got some dogs, man. I really think that Tennessee is going to give Pavia some trouble. I feel like they're definitely going to score. So I don't think it's going to be some blowout game, but I would kind of lean Tennessee with this one. It's just kind of what I think. Bottom left there, Oklahoma LSU. Man, look, Van Buren. We watched him play at A. I thought he was pretty good at A&M, man. I kind of surprised he left, I guess, but he's over here now, and old Nuss, he's injured, so I think he's having some surgery or something. This Oklahoma defense keeps them in games, and where LSU is weak is their offense. The offensive line has had some bad troubles up front. I don't know if LSU could score enough, and Oklahoma don't really have to score much because their defense is probably going to get them a score, and they're going to kick some field goals. Because Oklahoma is the saddest 8 team I've ever seen in my life. Here's a statement. We'll move on to Washington, Oregon. I'm serious. I don't know if how good some of these defenses are, I think this is a trend. It's kind of been going on for a little while, probably since Daniels left LSU. Offenses, just in general, are not good. I mean, what quarterback is just blowing anybody's socks off this year? I mean, really. I think the defenses are looking good because the offenses, just in general, is not really good. Just period. I'm not picking on any team particularly. I think we have a bad offensive core of football in college right now. I'm just saying, man. So I would say Oklahoma, gets the W over there. Now Washington and Oregon. Washington is Coach Fish he's a good coach. He's been in this game for a while. Is he coaching for his job? I mean, it's going to be at Washington. That could be a hot seat game, maybe, I guess. Everybody loves Oregon, and they ain't played nobody. They're 1-1 against top 25 teams. Their quarterback, the Williams kid, he's going to throw it some. He's going to run it some. But, they're hanging in over there. They're like 5th or 6th over in the Big Ten. Both quarterbacks, though, for over 2,500. Tailbacks, run for over the 500 mark. The only difference is this receiver core, this Boston kid at Washington, he's over 730. So that kind of shows you where they kind of like to be. And I like the Botcher kid at Oregon, their linebacker. He's got 90 tackles, man. So, and, looking back to the old Oregon teams when Kelly was there back in the day, when Auburn played them back in the time, they were fast on offense. We all remember Mariota being the quarterback there, but man, they played good defense. So, can Oregon play good enough defense on the road at Washington? I think so. I kind of think so. Pitt and Miami. Miami's got they're in kind of a love quarrel kind of sort of maybe with the committee. They are favored by a touchdown to beat Pitt. Pitt's been playing pretty good right now. Guys, they're 8-3. Okay. It's an early game on ABC. And Miami's favored, ESPN Power, whatever likes them by a lot. The high school quarterback kid has come in and played well since your boy from Bama got hurt and was at Pitt. It's not, he's hurt. He's not played in a while. Their Turner, their running back, he's okay. I mean, he's run for over 600 yards. So, matchup-wise, sheesh, man. I mean, Pitt, lost to Notre Dame 37-15, and Miami, beat Notre Dame. And how's Notre Dame ranked ahead of Miami? That's a different subject for a different day. I mean, come on, man. I don't know. It's going to be at Alshire Stadium there in Pitt. That could be the difference. That may make it interesting. I've seen some people say it could be spit and snow. I don't think Miami likes snow getting spit on them. And Pitt's defense is good enough to hang around. That weather could have a little bit to do with it. It really could. Now, here's probably for the last A&M in Texas, Georgia Tech, Georgia, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Probably the last ones we'll hit over there. Texas and Texas A&M. This is A&M's favored by 1.5. Okay, and they've both been kind of Cadillacing right along here lately. I know Georgia beat Texas and put the smack down on them. But the game's going to be, it's going to be at Austin. Is there a chance? Is there any chance at all that Arch could just have some kind of great game? Look, man, we did see earlier in the year, we saw Texas just kind of, popping everybody's pimple. This defense, we talked about it a lot and talked about it a lot. So I think the story of the game at Texas and A&M, the matchup features two, hot guys right now in the SEC. Arch, he's improved since early in the season. I've seen him struggle some, especially Ohio State stuff. A&M's Reed, he's emerged since last season as a Heisman contender, leading the Aggies from 30-3 deficit. They was getting beat South Carolina, and they get praised for coming back and beating South Carolina. What a heroic comeback. But Bama just beats South Carolina at home, and that's not important. I'm going to drop them 10. They lost Florida State first game. Oh, so we're doing the whole body of work for Alabama. We're just pick and choose games for other teams. Okay, I got you. So Reed has, over 2,500 yards passing already, 25 touchdowns. Manning is, they're within like 10 yards of each other, 27-52, 27-63. So you're thinking about Archie struggle some. He ain't done that good, man. I watched him play some. He's thrown for the same amount of yards as old boy Reed at A&M. Again, these teams are not running the ball. Nobody's really running the ball great. Who? And it's because most of these teams have running quarterbacks. Bama's struggling this year because they don't have a running quarterback. Last year it wasn't as much of a big deal. We still talked about it. But the quarterback can get out of the way. And on the 3rd and 3, if they're going to pass it like they do, if it's not there, Milroe could get you a first down. Reed can too. I think this game is going to come down to that. I think it's going to have to do with Arch being able to move around and get out of the way of this A&M defense. But, as far as special teams is always a thing that you have to talk about. And the punt return Niblett of Texas and Concepcion at A&M have both been – they are the two – I think they're the best returners in the conference. So Niblett, Concepcion, special teams could be key. You've kind of got a lock there. Niblett's touchdown clinched a win over Oklahoma and forced overtime, and another win against Mississippi State. Concepcion also has 2 returns for touchdowns this season. The empty run game at Texas, that's why I made the point that Arch he's going to have to get out there and move around a little bit, okay? Now the Aggies return Owens in the backfield. That's going to be a big help for them. I think that may add for them. And them being on the road at Texas, him being able to run the ball and take the crowd out of the game. Hey, look, man, Auburn wants to ruin Alabama season. You don't think Texas don't want to screw this up for A&M? Oh, Lord, yes. Sure they do. Absolutely they do. Texas A&M top running back Moss is likely we're not going to see him. He's been out for over a month now. But the Aggies should have Reuben Owens second, like we said, to be able to address. But Saturday, he set out last week's win over Stanford. Owen has been primary ball carrier for Moss injury and got close to 600 yards on the game. So difference in that game probably be something in the lines of Arch being able to get out and scramble a little bit, and them, as in Texas defense, not letting Reed get out there and scramble around a lot. That's what I'm thinking on that. Yeah, they are, man. Look, it just is what it is, and that's why I'm not a Notre Dame fan. Look, where I grew up in the house as a Bama fan, and granddaddy liked Coach Bryant, and money makes things go around. I think Bama got the nod for a long time because of Coach Saban, and that's over. Obviously, it's over. The committee, look, man, you can see what's going on. They're trying to keep, they're just trying to keep Bama out of the mix. That's exactly what they're doing. They don't want them to play. They don't want them to really have a shot at it. So you know what? It's just what Saban's always said, don't let the refs decide the games, and you control your own day. Just go win the game. So just quit whining and crying about stuff. We saw games where the Oklahoma game, Bama's defensive line got robbed. I mean, they held their guys coming to the line a lot. Now, I've seen no holding penalties on Oklahoma. On the one Mateer run in, it was right in front of the camera. He had him up around his neck. It's holding, obviously, no call. But no, we didn't run on Facebook. Coach didn't run to the board and we lost the game because they're penalties and they're cheating us. It's just not how we do it. It just, it's just take care of the ball and you win the game. Same as last year. Bama, I'm not whining about stupid crap like that. So Alabama will likely jump Notre Dame if they win. Yes. We talked about that last night, and I got thinking about that more. Ben, you may have brought that up last night, or Jeff. I think Jeff did too. The top four, I thought, well, maybe they could scramble, but if Texas Tech wins, they'll have to come into the top four. So the loser, if A&M loses, bump out. Texas Tech wins, they'll come in. Or there's going to be a loser, Ohio State and Indiana. They can't stay in. So I'm going to say, Indiana loses and they bump out. They may come out. Texas Tech goes in, and Georgia's just going to play chill mode, and they're just going to hang out. Now if Michigan, we're going to fix and get to that one. If Michigan does, if Michigan beats Ohio State and Indiana and Oregon both win, then it would be Indiana versus Oregon in the Big Ten championship. Yeah. I've seen crazier things happen, way crazier. I don't not really spend a whole lot of time on this one. Well, where'd it go? Yeah, Georgia Tech here. Tech runs the ball well. And let's talk about what we did a while ago. We talked about strengths and weaknesses. Where one's good, where's the other one strong. Tech likes to run the ball. That's not it's not a big secret. And we know that Georgia plays the run very well. They don't give up a lot of run yards. And because of Kirby and who he is, where he's from and what he's done, he's got these guys playing at a high click right now. And I just like how Gunner is playing along right now. He's been in the spotlight. Georgia's at 4. They're going to try to keep the winning streak going versus Georgia Tech at the Benzo Dome. Haynes King, I like him, man. I think he's a good quarterback. They're 9-2 on the year. But the quarterback showdown in the state rivalry known as the old-fashioned hate features dual threat players who have earned respect for their toughness as much as their arms. Now, Georgia wants to protect their number 4 position. We just talked about that, of them being able to hang out and just kind of watch everybody beat up on each other. So the Bulldogs outlasted the Yellow Jackets in 8 overtimes, 44-42 last year. What a game. I don't think it'll be that way this year. It may. I think Georgia's a little different team this year. Georgia Tech 9-2. They're going to try to recover from their home loss last week to Pitt. We talked about Pitt a while ago, where they're at right now. Because King threw 2 picks, and one of them was like, Jesus, man, he might as well put the guy's name on it and, just send it to him straight up with a freaking bow tie and a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Just threw it right to him. So, despite their, losing streak and stuff, what they've had going on against Georgia, it would go it's going to look good towards a resume for Tech to look as an overall record, not for a conference game. But, look, Brent Key, man, if y'all don't know, he was the offensive line coach at Bama for a while. When Bama was clicking and you saw those great offensive line groups, he was the guy. He was. He was the man in charge of all that. Now, here's the thing. This junior player, I think this, I mentioned each game, I mentioned some players that kind of what needs to happen or difference maker that'll be key to the game. Dude, this freaking Branch kid to come from SC, he's got 63 catches for over 640 yards. Okay, guys, mathing on that, dude. You got like 60 catches, 600 yards. That's 10 a catch. This guy's smoking people, man. Bowers had 63 catches in 2022. And then Bryce Hunter had a school record of 79 catches way back in 93. Also, the Georgia Tech guy, the junior Aiden Byer, is one of 3 finalists for the Lou Groza Award, given the game's top place kicker. That sure does help. Byer he's 22-25, and those things may come down into some kind of effect in the game. But overall, man, look, Yellow Jackets last win the series was 28-27 in 2016. I think Georgia's clicking right now, and I don't think it's going to matter if they have the Lou Gorza kicker at Georgia Tech. I don't think it's going to matter if they have the kicker or not. What up, Burge? Yeah, that's, Georgia's going to run the ball. Tech likes to run the ball. Georgia can stop the run. And Tech, I don't think, can stop the run. So, yeah. Ben, you are 100% on that one, brother. That's big time. That could be a lot of crap happen. I guess the last two here, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. The only thing that I could kind of ponder, I'm not talking about Indiana, Purdue. Sorry, Big Ten people. Arizona State is going to be a late game. That'll be on a Friday. Texas Tech, West Virginia. Yeah, UCF talked about their coach probably going to Arkansas. We're doing these other games. Virginia Tech, Virginia, big game. Hey, look, Virginia's favored by 8.5. UCLA, USC, and Notre Dame, Stanford. No, boring. See, SMU and Cal. But Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Is there a possibility? Now, Ole Miss is favored by a touchdown. All this talk about Kiffin leaving the place. 10-1 Ole Miss Rebels facing off the 5-6 Mississippi State Burro Dogs. 1-6 in the conference. Lane is 6-1 in conference. All stakes high for the Egg Bowl could overshadow by Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin's future, and that is my point. In the 124-year rivalry between these two schools, Mississippi A&M it was back in the day, versus the regular old Mississippi University of Mississippi. The Rebels coming in could lock up a spot in the playoffs with this victory on Friday in this Egg Bowl. During the past 2 weeks, Kiffin's family has been rumors to mention from Oxford, Mississippi, Gainesville, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ole Miss has sought to find out other offers by Florida and LSU to lure away their coach. I hadn't heard anybody else say this. I always have a take on something, and I say it. I'm not always right. I'm just different. I view things a little different. And I'm not trying to get too philosophical here, but in literature class, if you like to read some good Edgar Allan Poe stuff, it's called The Cast of Amontillado. Fantastic little short story by Poe. At the end of the story, Poe talks about the gesture at the end there, his friend blocking him up in the wine cellar room to lock him away. I, however, and doing the paper on this in a Lit 202 class, I thought that the gesture blocked himself in to keep himself from doing bad things. And it's Poe and his identity and how he was as a person, how he wrote his stories. I saw how he wanted to maybe block himself away sometimes to keep from hurting others, because he knew in his drinking that he was hurting others in his addiction. Thank you very much. That brings me to make the point of this. I see how we do know Lane's son is shopping football for high school stuff. And is it possible, chat, hit the thumbs up if you agree. If you don't, that's fine. Is it possible that we've seen them leave for a flight to go to Baton Rouge? His son's, going to be playing college. I don't think he wants to play with his dad. I mean, who would? No, you want to play college ball for your daddy? You go live your own life. Do your own thing. Second part of this is kind of unlocked my brain to thinking this. His daughter dates the Weeks guy, the linebacker at LSU. So maybe all this smoke that's been created from throwing a wet towel on a fire that really never existed. Did it ever exist? His daughter dates a guy down there. His son's looking for a college to go to. What if his son just wanted to visit LSU and they saw the private plane fly down there? I ain't heard nobody say this. I ain't heard nobody say, have you ever thought that Lane's son, and maybe it's just visiting LSU because it may be where he wants to go to college at, or Florida. Did anybody see Lane Kiffin in LSU? Supposedly he met with the AD and they talked about supposedly. Well, supposedly I got $1 million too. That don't mean it's true because it's not. I got like $10 in my name. That's why you need to hit the thumbs up. Drive this video up, man. Help us reach new heights with Locker Room Sports here that bring you these kind of pieces and tidbits of information that you only hear here. I'm just saying, is that a possibility? I don't know. Give me Ole Miss by plenty. I don't think it's really going to matter if Lane even coached the game at all, honestly. Now, do give me a comment. Is Lane staying? Yes or no? Comment section. Guys, fill them up over there. Is Lane staying? Yes, Matt. He's staying. He's building a brand there. He's going to be the next Bear Bryant at Ole Miss. They're going to build a statue for him down there at Oxford, Mississippi. Hotty toddy, good gosh almighty, who the heck are we? That's what he's doing. He's built something there. I'm not leaving there. What the same thing I broke down in the breakdown with Arkansas and Gaulish going to there. Just get your team in. You don't have to be number 1 or 2 to play for a chip no more. Just get in the playoffs. Arkansas has Walmart money. They just spent $20 million on the baseball field. Lane, stay where you're at. Don't be the same dickhead that runs off in the middle of the night, this kind of stuff. I know when he left USC, he got lied to. He said we're not going to be limited on scholarships. And they lied to him. He left. He couldn't build a program because of crap what happened with Carroll and Reggie Bush and them. Now, last game, and maybe the least of important game, sort of, besides Ole Miss, Mississippi State or something. Michigan, Ohio State. The identities of these teams are just that. Auburn over Bama by at least a 7. Oh, heck yeah, man. Pick your team. Talk your talk. I'm just, bro, I'm telling you, Cornelius, I will not be surprised. I will not go, holy crap, did you just see what just happened? Auburn just beat Alabama. I will not be. I picked Auburn. Ask anybody on the chat. You're kind of new over here. I picked Auburn back in the summer. I think there's a little politics probably involved. It's not a rivalry, man. You can't beat teams 5, 6, 7 years in a row. It's not good for the state and football for Bama just to win them all the time. And Bama loses Saturday, they're done. You're out. OUT. See, buddy, we'll catch you in a – they'll probably play a January bowl. I think their brand still helps that somewhat. They don't care about the Nick Saban stuff. That's dead, gone, buried. Gone. Y'all had us dead. We're buried. We ain't no good no more. And this 12-team life now, you're just trying to get your team in the playoffs, and you can have yourself a chance. Bama's favored by a touchdown, but that don't – I just can't see – and we'll do Michigan, Ohio State before we get off. Bama's trended down. If they take care of the football, no turnovers for Bama, I think they got a great shot at winning the game. But when you press all the load, all the weight is on Ty because they're not going to run it. Kicking game is 11 for 18, and he's not going to run Ty. I just don't see Grubb going, you know what, I'm going to change everything up this week. We just have to know what we know, and we can only go by what we see. And these four eyes have seen the last 4 weeks of Bama doing this. 69%, 68%, 67%, 66%. You won't try to do it all. And it worked last year because Milroe could get out of trouble. That's not the case now. So he's holding the ball a little too long sometimes, taking a sack here or there. Auburn's linebackers can fly around the field. Auburn's got a better kicker. I think there's special teams, nod, kicker, special teams, I think goes to Auburn. Defensively up front and probably tied. Linebacker core is definitely Bama. Their core-wise, their overall linebacker group is better. But, I mean, when you got a guy, he leads a team in tackles for loss and sacks, and Atkins, he's a dog, man. He's going to find a way. He's going to be part of the game. If they can block him, hit these receivers up the field, because Auburn is 103rd and giving up passes up the field. Bama's good at passing the ball. Auburn's not good at stopping the pass, 103rd. Auburn's good at stopping the run. Bama don't run the ball. But I just would not be surprised if – I'm not going to be surprised if Auburn wins. I think what was the score I said yesterday? I said like a minute something left on the clock. Bama's down by 6. They need to drive the field and score a touchdown to win by 1, to kick the PAT to win by 1. And they just – that team, I've seen it when they've got their foot on the throat of people. They just can't put your foot on something and, you know, trying to be gross, but animals and a punted deer and that kind of stuff, you just pop. You have to pop they can't. They just don't have that in them. It's just a style of play where we're kind of at now, kind of just in general. Football's kind of lost that. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if Auburn wins. Now, Michigan and what's the identity of these two teams? A couple of weeks ago, I make a statement that Ohio State reminds me a lot of Alabama. They don't run the ball great. They do okay. But they have some receivers that can get up and down the field. Sayin's good enough. He can get out there and throw the ball. I mean, stat-wise, him and Ty are not just, they're not light years apart. Both of them's first year starting. I know Ohio State's favored by a lot, but they have been for years and years now. So the thing is, can Underwood, he's 170 for 270, that's not terribly bad. He's only thrown 5 picks on the year. Sayin's throw for 2,800. I think Ty's at 29. He's 240 for 300, which is not bad. He's thrown 4 picks, but he's thrown 27 touchdowns. Running back wise, Marshall over there at Michigan has seemed to be their guy, run for over 800 yards. And if you got a guy named Bo Jackson, man, he's run for 835 on the year. But Smith is the guy. He's close to 1,000-yard receiver. I think Ohio State gets up and down the field well. I'm not sure if Underwood he's a dog now. I watched him play high school ball, okay? He's going to be something for them. But I just think that this year at the Big House, it's a game that Ohio State needs to win. We say this every year. That's a game they need to win. It could cause some flunky stuff, but not really. They could be like Georgia and just pop out and set at 6 and just wait for everybody else to play their championship games and go right into the playoffs. Play a number 10 or 9, whatever. Probably get a better draw. I mean, they would be first round bye, but it's kind of not it's kind of not as inviting to win your conference championship. No, I hate that. So, defending champs, top ranked Ohio State, 11-0 to will not get knocked out of the college football playoffs if they lose their fifth straight game to 15th ranked Michigan, which we're figuring that. We've been talking about that. They'll still be in it. But he says that they've been working towards this goal all year. Coach Day and them, they are ready to get after it. Latest wise, setbacks is what it is. The second ranked Buckeyes were favored by nearly 3 touchdowns against offensively challenged, shorthanded, 5-loss Wolverines. Sharon Moore's debut season last year and lost 13-10 in the shoe. It feels like in the beginning, is what Harbaugh said back then, which he was right. But we've seen all the talent. We've seen all the talent that Michigan had last year. They're going to be trying to win with more pride than they are just with players this year. That identity of the team, I think Michigan's fine. Look, man, they're like they're fourth over there. Yeah, I mean they're 9-2. They're kind of finding themselves, and I don't quite think that they're quite ready yet. Both programs have first year starters at QB. We just mentioned that. Went through some of their stats. Each player has their chance to make a legacy in the game for them. Alabama-Auburn games, rivalries, way bigger. Ohio State redshirt freshman Sayin leads the major of college football with an 80% nearly completion percentage. His QB ranking is at like a 185. It's crazy. But he has not played 4 ranked teams. Now, Underwood, he was the top-ranked guy when Portnoy paid him, what was it, $15 million or something to come to Michigan. Big signing day, had a lot of stuff, and Day says that, hey, look, Michigan's got talent all over the field. They're still recruiting well. They're still Michigan. Now, as far as guys returning, for Patricia to return, Ohio State's top-ranked defense is led by this first-year defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, who was 13-29 in 2+ seasons coach of Detroit Lions. I like him. Watch their style of defense. They're going to be a tough out. So, injury report, this kind of weighs into it. So hang on here. You can find out who's there and who's not, give you a good idea to pick. Ohio State standout, banged up receivers Smith and Tate were expected to get reps in practice this week. But Michigan will be without Justice Haynes, Trader, Moore at safety. And so they expect running back Marshall and receiver Morgan to return. Hopefully the fullback Bredson and Hawson can play also. 11 o'clock, big game kickoff on the 29th. This is one of it is maybe worse than Auburn and Alabama to try to pick it. I picked Michigan last year, but I know the year before I picked Ohio State because we had them winning it all. We had them picked to win it. And Michigan won it. So I've kind of went back and forth with this one. I just don't think Michigan has the guys yet to prevail and win there. I think it may be a little big moment for Underwood, so I think Ohio State gets the job done. Yeah, I mean, it's not even Kirby and Saban anymore. It's just Kirby and Bama. Yeah, I'm kind of going along with you. This SEC championship means so much to me this year. I hope that the players understand what it means to be SEC champ. Yeah, I'm with you, Zach, and that's kind of us older people kind of see that and the resemblance of, kind of the game and where we're at and what we like, as being college football fans, that, your conference championship game should mean something to you. And next year, adding a 9th conference game, I think is going to make the SEC championship game even uglier. People are just not – everybody else is going to get to rest that week. And when you're playing the SEC, we're beating the crap out of each other every week. And now we're going to add another game. And I think the offenses and stuff next year in the SEC are going to be better. I think you're going to see a little bit of a turnaround next year. There's some running backs coming out that are going to be coming into college this year. So maybe another 2 years for I think we'll see a run game come back in like 27. And it seems like I'm 48. I've been watching college football for, I don't know, 40 years watching, but not, watching. You just 8, 9, 10, you run in, watch a little bit, and you go outside. But 30 years of it, it goes in cycles. It just does. You're going to have good years of defense and good years of offense. And, man, it just seems like for the past couple of years, since your Derrick Henry style guys have kind of left, it's just nobody's really run the ball very well. They just hadn't. Offenses are not really good, and it's making the defenses look better. So adding this other game is just going to make our SEC conference game not as attractive, because you're just going to see more guys beat up. And here you are, beat up even worse, and now you're going to go and play another game and then get ready to go to playoff. And, if you get a bye week, it'll be great, if you can go in and win it. But if you don't, it's tough. So here's the thing. I think Ben brought this up, and we'll get off here. Does Bama losing in the SEC game, we'll just assume they win Saturday, and I'm about 55% Auburn wins. I'm about 45 on Bama. If Auburn, wins the game, it loses. Alabama beats them Saturday, and Bama goes A&M. Close game, man. It's a good night. Go back and forth, and it's like 36-30 at the end. Bama kick a field. Oh no, 36-33. A&M beats Bama. Well, they're 10-3 then. That'd be 10 wins in the Iron Bowl. Third loss, A&M. What do you do with a 10-3 team? Do you think some of it's just going to kind of factor out that how other teams win or lose? Is Bama going to need some teams in front of them to lose? Conference championship game was a bad idea back in 92. And Georgia and Ole Miss sitting there like, yeah, go ahead and maybe we'll see you in the playoffs. I know. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's about being healthy and having players that can go play. So, if Bama loses, does the 10-3 Bama stay in? Surely you're going to have some teams. I'm trying to see if I have this image over here. I do not. You're going to have some teams to lose. You're going to have to. Some of these other teams, rankings, we'll go, let's go to the playoff predictor, see if it'll give me oh, for God's sake. I don't want to do that. Get out of here. You're going to have some kind of way to to meddle through, some of this stuff. Okay. Let's go here, and here. Bam. This is the poll. So, you're going to have Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Ole Miss ain't losing. Oregon, I don't think Washington ain't. Georgia's not losing. You're I don't know, man. LSU don't have the guys to beat Oklahoma. Bama loses the SEC title game, you're probably going to have an Oklahoma lose. But LSU's not going to beat them. Now, let's go over here and look at their schedule. Their last game, they're going to play. They're going to hang out and chill. They're the shittiest team ranked in the top 10. Oklahoma has an anemic offense. They can't score crap on nobody. They just can get some turnovers on defense. But when you take care of the ball like Ole Miss and them did in the games they lost, that's how they lost. Just take care of the ball, and you can beat them. Texas Tech, we've talked about them. You look at their schedule, just trying to see, if Bama, they got they're at West Virginia. Is that a chance for West Virginia? I just would kind of highly doubt that. Guys, they're just, it's just, they're not that good. 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. I've seen West Virginia play a little bit this year. You got a back run for 300 yards. They're next to last. They've won like 2 conference games. It's just, I don't, maybe if they lose in their conference game, Texas Tech, maybe. But still, say if they win this weekend, Texas Tech would be, they'll be 11-1. Conference championship game, they'd be 11-2. Where Bama would be 10-2. I don't know how they're going to, jump Bama up high enough. Look, if BYU beats Tech in their conference game, if this lays out like we think, and Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, Bama loses to A&M, watch and see, and I'm telling you, they will not, NOTT not. They're not going to put in Bama. Vanderbilt and BYU. Vanderbilt, BYU wins these games. They're going to move them up. Bama will have 3 losses. And there you would have Vanderbilt at 10-2 head to head. They'd say, well, Bama beat them. Maybe Vanderbilt could beat Tennessee. And if Bama loses the SEC game and they don't put Vanderbilt in, which is likely, Vanderbilt gets a crappy bowl for being 10-2, having a great year, and Bama loses the conference game and they still get in and to be 10-3. That third loss, man. It'd be the same thing as Texas being down here at 16 or something. Because Vanderbilt beating a number 18, 8-3 Tennessee team, how good does that make their strength of schedule? Their strength of record. What's the strength of the teams that you've beat? How many teams have they beat? That's what's kept Bama up here because they beat Georgia, but they lost to Oklahoma, and they beat 12 Vandy. But you see all Bama's other wins, this is what hurt them because LSU fired their coach. Well, that's hurt. And Missouri lost their quarterback. Now, that's not Bama's fault, but it is what it is. They'll have to win out. That's the only way it's going to happen. I just don't see I don't see a format of if they lose the SEC title game. Let me ask you this, and Bama fans, be fair, Zach, and how I've kind of accoladed with this playoff. Let's just be honest. Be honest. Don't be a fan. Just be a college football connoisseur that I like to be. I'm neutral. We cover most all the SEC teams, Auburn, Georgia, Bama closely. Do you want a 3-loss team in the playoffs? I don't. So if that's my strategy, those are my criterias is 3-loss teams. That's for 16-team playoff. I don't want 3-loss teams in there. Bama loses the SEC title game. Vanderbilt, you beat Tennessee. You're 11-2. Go ahead, son. The water's fine. Bama, oh, well, I guess you shouldn't have turned the ball over against Oklahoma every year for 2 years in a row. Stop playing like crap when you know it's time to step up and you have to win these games late in the year. Step up and do something about it. Don't whine about it. I don't want to hear none of that. Win the damn game. The Florida State thing got dumped on them. Well, Gus had all summer and they had a new D coordinator. We had no idea what was expecting to go out. If you got a freaking college football staff, offensive coordinators, defensive coach, Womack's done by in a couple of plays to a half, if you ain't figured out what they're running and you can't adjust to it, pack your bags and go. This ain't high school ball. I know high school coaches I have seen personally standing on the sidelines, Benefield at 5, watch the team go down the field, tick, 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 moving the ball down the field. He called timeout. This team run about 10 plays. Timeout, brought them to the sideline. You do this, you go there. Yes, sir, we got it. They don't get this first down. It's 4th and 1. Bam, he stopped them. He adjusted right there on the fly. Coach Smith, same thing. Go watch Danny Horn or somebody. And Coach Smith, I just mentioned Westbrook. When is it Piedmont? These guys adjust. You can't tell me that a college staff making millions of dollars in the Florida State and Alabama game. Well, man, Gus come in. His offense. Well, you know what he was running? He's running the same crap he's always run. It's Arkansas high school football. It's not complicated. You either follow the guard to the ball or he pulls the back out the back door, or the quarterback pulls it and follows out the other side. God darn, I don't know much of nothing, but I can see what's going on. If the Bama staff could not figure that out at halftime and watching it on the iPad live, what's going on? You can't adjust and win that game, and you keep turning the ball over against Oklahoma and you play like crap, 4 turnovers, and your kicker can't kick. Why'd you take him then? Let him go. You don't have a run game. Fire the running back coach. Offensive line sucks this year. Fire the offensive line coach. Do something. Stop making excuses. I don't want to hear it. Miss me with all that BS, bro. I don't want to hear no college coach that can't sit down and watch a freaking game by halftime and do something within usually a couple of plays. We're talking about elite callers. These guys are elite. Lane Kiffin, Sarks, even Lincoln Riley, these guys, I know he's lost some games, but James Franklin, he got fired from, I promise you, if Franklin come down here anywhere in this state and coach high school football, he's going to carry them all over the place. They have to be able to adjust. And Bama couldn't adjust to the Florida State team. You deserve to lose the game. That's 3 losses, and you can't carry the ball. You can't play A&M. They're Florida State 201. Look at how they play. I think their defense is better. A&M ain't beat no rugged, rumbly, tumbly defensive team, really. They've had a good game or two. They shouldn't even beat Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is ash water. Yeah. Cigarette tray, ashes, put water in it, and get you a big drink. That's Notre Dame. And Indiana's even worse. You can't just have a team that can go there and not adjust. And you get to the end of the year and go, well, we played for our conference title, man. I mean, everybody else, if you play, yeah, but those other teams that are playing their conference championship game are undefeated. Indiana loses to Ohio State. Yeah, I think they should be in. Do they not play anybody? Is their strength of schedule 52? Is the overall strength of schedule for the Big Ten 39? Yes, it's trash. We went over it last night. Oh, well, it's just how it is. You lost 3 games. Pack your bags. Get out of the playoffs. I just don't really want 3 lost teams in the playoffs. That's just me, and I'm talking anybody. Any team. Bama, if that shoe fits, buckle that sucker up and tie it with a double knot. I don't want 3 lost teams in the playoffs. You know what you do? Go win. Just take care of business. Don't whine about calls. Don't tell me about the ref. Don't tell me about your kicker can't kick. Don't tell me about you can't run the football. Figure it out. Winners win and losers lose. And the winners is who I want to see. I want to see good teams in there. If Bama loses an SEC title game, that's 3 losses. See you, buddy. And Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, they ain't got but 2. Well, but we beat Vanderbilt head to head. Yeah, but you can't adjust and beat Florida State. They're garbage. And you couldn't beat A&M neither. So this automatic qualifying because you go to your conference championship game, that just can't be a clear-cut thing. That it's got to be the Andy Griffin rule. Well, you can't. It can't. It has to be the Andy Griffin rule, which is what I'm saying. Different cases for different teams, for different situations. That's just how I feel about it. And everybody can feel different about it. Yeah, Robert Gillespie is the running back coach. Guess who hired him? Saban hired him. Why is he still there? He hired him in 21. Have you noticed the Alabama run game since 21? Would anybody like to go back and pull up the run stats and find out that Gibbs, the guy that's showing that right now in the NFL, he led the team in receptions. He's the leading receiver on the team. He was the leading receiver on the team. Your quarterback was the leading runner on the team last year. There's a problem. Fire him. Damn, DeBoer. What? He ain't got no. I wanted Lane. Do I hate DeBoer? No. Does he win a lot of games? Sure. In his record, they win a lot of close games, man. They don't beat people like that. That's just not how he plays football. And it just is weird to Bama fans because we're not used to seeing that. And the excuse is, well, it's just the way college football is now. I mean, it's just kind of different. It was the same way last year. Same thing. I think Saban coached a team that played Michigan in the semis and lost because Pritchett, your right tackle at Bama, got blew off the ball, and Milroe got sacked because your center snapped it on the ground. They lost the game because of a bad snap and a right tackle went to sleep. So it's the same stuff, man. Same thing. He's got to be fired. You got to start firing these coaches, man. You got to let these guys, when your position coaches fail and fail and fail, you got to be able to let them go. You got to have enough guts and nuts to step up and do it. That's why I wanted Lane. Lane, he see what he's doing. He's ducking out. And some people have thought, well, maybe he's waiting to see how the Iron Bowl goes, because if Bama loses to Auburn, would DeBoer be interested in taking the Penn State job? Would Grubb be interested in going back out west to Cal? Because I've heard Grubb's wife, just in rumor, allegedly, they don't like it here. She's a nice-looking black lady from Michigan, and they don't like it here, and she would be, I think they want to go back out west, and DeBoer's just not the cut. He's good. He can win games, but that raw, edgy stuff, which you've seen him get this year, it seems like he's trying to be tough. You know, that real nice guy that you have, he's one of your buddies. And he's just a nice guy, man. And even when like stuff breaks out, like he's the one that kind of backs away. And he may come and say, all right, guys, that's enough. You know, let's break it up. He knows the game, the board. He's a winner. He played the game. He played quarterback. But there's a sense of things that have to go on at Alabama. It's different. It is different because they're just a standard. I know other fans of the other 130 schools will never admit that. And that's fine because they hate Alabama, because everybody does except Alabama fans. So the other 130 teams all hate Alabama. I get it. Kiffin does. He was the hire that I wanted to get him because he's the only guy that's just crazy enough to follow Saban. Like Saban, who? Bro, he can do. He's already got a statue out there. It's my turn. Get the popcorn ready. That's just my opinion, which is worth nothing. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I love you all very much. Thank y'all for coming by and hanging on the page. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, do it right now before you jump off. Appreciate you, YouTube guys. Subscribe, share the channel, and we'll see y'all back Sunday for sure. I got bored today. Just kind of here hanging out. Thought I'll just jump on there for an hour and we'll talk about some these lineups here, some of these games for the week, because we didn't really get into it. Yesterday was just kind of Iron Bowl talk, pretty much just Auburn, Alabama. So we kind of hit them all today. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. God bless you. Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God. Thank you.